the question is, why is it so big? How come this object is so big? And why is it following this path that is aligned with the plane of the planets? But on top of that, we see nickel without iron in the plume of gas surrounding it. And the only other place where we saw it before is in nickel alloys that are produced industrially. So that raises the possibility that maybe we're looking at an artificial object that was technologically manufactured. And there is another anomaly, which is really strange, that usually what happens around comets is that they get evaporated, the ice on them is evaporated as a result of sunlight impinging on the surface. And that releases dust particles that scatter sunlight. And when the dust scatters sunlight, it gets pushed away from the sun by the radiation pressure of the sun. And you see it as a cometary tail. So cometary tails are pushed away from the sun. You see an elongated plume of dust that reflects sunlight. That's the appearance of a comet. Instead, what we saw here in July and August is that there is scattered light in front of the object, towards the sun, not away from the sun, but towards the sun. And moreover, it was 10 times longer than it was wide. We almost saw it edge on, but not exactly edge on. So we saw it on the sky, twice as long as it is wide. But if you correct for the projection effect, it's actually sort of like a jet of scattered light in front of the object towards the sun. And this is the first time we saw such a thing for a comet. And all of these are anomalies that the comet experts just ignore. I mean, either ignore or say, well, it's a big comet and it happens to be on this trajectory and it does shed gas, but they don't go into the details of nickel without iron. They don't go into the details that it's mostly carbon dioxide and not water as they predicted. They just ignore it, and then they say, okay, well, it's a comet. And I say that no, I mean, we should pay attention to these anomalies, and they could represent something new that we've never seen before in the solar system. It may be alien technology, maybe something that would change the way we think about our place in the universe. And there is a way to figure it out by collecting more data, more evidence. The one difference between a dogmatist, someone that believes in a dogma, and a curious scientist is that if you give both of them a lot of data, the curious scientist, the genuine scientist, would be thrilled because that's an opportunity to learn. But the dogmatist would be really worried because there might be anomalies that challenge past ideas, past knowledge, and the dogmatist would prefer to shove all the anomalies under the carpet of traditional thinking. And that's what we're seeing, and the truth, is that scientific knowledge is not a matter of authority. It's not for NASA to tell us what the answer is. It's for the data. There are no experts when you deal with a blind date with an interstellar visitor. We are dealing with something new. And we shouldn't judge whatever we see by what we already know about objects within the solar system. And therefore, we should be just curious and see what the data shows us. And, just the fact the object is very massive on a special trajectory, has an unusual composition that includes nickel without iron, that already tells us something is unusual about it.